We've all heard retirement is not an ending, but I think we need to add to the sentence and say it's a gateway to your life's best adventures.
Wow, so dramatic today. But like any new chapter in life, it's going to, this does come with challenges. It comes with uncertainties, but it also comes with a lot of opportunities.
Make no mistake, how you prepare today determines the quality of your tomorrow.
Now, if you're new here, I'm Mark, and this is my wife, Jody.
We don't focus on the financial aspects of retirement, but rather lifestyle, health, relationships, and much more.
So if you like this, please hit the subscribe button and the notification button. So you're going to get notified when our new videos come out. And gosh, it would really be great if you could share this with someone that you care about who's on their retirement journey too.
We really want you to feel empowered and equipped to face the challenges of retirement with excitement and clarity.
And our goal today really is to ignite a proactive approach for you that's going to lead you into this next phase of your life.
This is probably, actually documented, it is one of the biggest changes you're ever going to face in your life. And therefore, it can be challenging. But today we're going to help you find a quick path to success.
So, who do we know that did really well in this first part of retirement?
We have friends that live in Bronxville, New York. He had a big corporate job, was, kind of all over the map, all over the world. She had her own things that she was doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they've gotten a very successful jump start into their retirement with a couple of key areas that they focused on ahead of time, and then they followed through with their plan.
Well, one of the things that he's doing is he is still engaged in some consulting. So he works maybe 10, 15 hours a week.
And it's funny, Mark, we get a lot of pushback on the challenge. You guys are doing this, you're not really retired, you're doing that. You say people are doing other work, they're not really retired. I would agree with you. So let's just throw the word retirement out.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. So what we are is in the next 30 years of our life and charting a new course.
And for him and for us, this is part of what we do. We spend 20 hours a week working on his YouTube channel and doing some consulting and one-on-one coaching. But this couple, he's doing a little bit of work, and she's very active in some nonprofits. There's one particular where she's involved with a charity they invest in startup businesses for women. She's on the board of this organization. So
startup businesses started up by women.
Started up by women,
Not just for women.
Not big, powerful things, just women who are...
some of them are pretty big and powerful.
Yeah. But I mean, it's really... I didn't mean it that way.
Wow, it sounded that way.
Well, I didn't want it to sound like she's on the board of a Fortune 100 company. She's a regular person who's helping this organization find women that want to start a business.
Well, I think there's a couple key things, and those are the ones that we're going to kind of pull out today.
Yeah.
Some things that when we think of them, we know they've done well.
Yeah. So they are very successful, and we want the same opportunity for you too. So what's the first tip? We call it a tip?
Right. Well, I think the first thing when you're addressing retirement, even before you retire, and we've all either started this, thought about it, done it, you have to plan financially. So I would say that's number one, even though we don't do financial planning.
Right. So you need to figure out what your nest egg looks like, how much money you have, if you have a pension, what does that look like coming in? What are your obligations? You still have a mortgage and a car payment. You need to figure all that out. And honestly, we're big advocates for financial planners because having that outside perspective to give you a voice that's not so tied up emotionally into, let's say, the stock market, which right now is doing poorly. If you're doing all the investments yourself and looking at all, you're just going to stress out all the time. So having a financial advisor is great.
And I think just planning financially, just at the basic root, knowing your income, whatever that is, knowing what you've saved, knowing your expenses, understanding any diversity of investments that you have to make sure you're spreading your risk for long-term growth, and wrap that all up with engage with a planner of some kind, or even new retirement. And we put the link below.
We'll put the link below. New Retirement is a platform that you can buy. You can test it for free. You can buy it for $120 a year. It's phenomenal. We use it. We have a lot of our clients that use it, and it gives you a snapshot of all your finances. And there's all sorts of tools in there you can use to do what ifs.
Yeah, scenario planning, really. Yep.
So
what's
first thing is planning financially is really, really important. The second thing that's important, and this client we talked about, was having a gradual wind down from your career if you have one. Just cold turkey ending it, sometimes that's really hard for people. And if that's what's going to happen, then you certainly want to phase out any work commitment you have. You don't want to leave a mess behind, right?
Yeah, and I think a big part of that phasing out or gradual wind down is starting to set your boundaries, right? Ensuring a balance between what's your work and your personal time so that it's really clear to not only you, but to the people that you're still dealing with.
And if you're in a situation where you do want to work a little bit, maybe you can go back to your company and say, hey, I want to give you 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, just something. If you work mornings for 2 hours, 5 days a week, it gives you a reason to get up, it gives you a little bit of money coming in, and it keeps your community alive a little bit longer. So you definitely want to see if that's an opportunity with your company.
Absolutely. And, don't be afraid to delegate responsibilities, right? Passing on tasks as you're doing your gradual wind down to people who are either taking your jobs or, dividing your labor up or whatever it might be. I would say that's something good to do. And then spend a little bit of time in this gradual wind down, reconnecting with your hobbies, rediscovering all the passions that you may have put on hold during your career.
It's funny. We have so many clients that say, I don't have any hobbies. Well, because you've been working for so long or you've been involved with other things. And if you've never had a hobby, you can find one. Just start, we're big journalers, so writing down what you're thinking about. If you spend every morning journaling for 5 minutes on hobbies and Google what are the most popular hobbies, and just start thinking, when I was a kid, I used to do that. I might be interested in that. Don't be afraid to explore that and reconnect and try it, because it could be that all of a sudden now you're really into, I don't know, what's a new hobby? Painting. Or you could declutter your house, clean your closet, give away all your clothes. So
gradual wind down would be the second thing that we really see as a great retirement tip as you get started.
Right.
The third thing is, and I love this one, is really taking time to engage in self-reflection. Understanding your identity beyond your work identity, and understanding that you're more than your title or your job or your, even your community at work. You're more than that.
I want to stay with this for a minute, because this is one of the big risks that we all face, or the big changes that we all face when we retire. Because you and I both had identities at work. I own my own company. I was the CEO. And when that ends, it's really hard to reinvent yourself with a new identity. My dad struggled with that so much, and we did it first, and maybe you are too, I don't know, but you can't just spend the next 30 years saying, I used to do this and I used to do that. Really peel back who you are as a human being, and that's really your identity, and from there you can build something new.
And I think as you're doing that, it's really important to evaluate all your past achievements, right? It's not like we're saying abandon that and move forward. Really recognize and take pride in your career journey, whatever it was, and then move forward to envision all the future accomplishments that you could have. Retirement is going to offer you new opportunities.
We get comments a lot that people say, Mark stopped interrupting Jody. And I always respond to that saying, we both get so passionate about what we're talking about that I do, and I'm really trying hard because I almost just interrupted you.
I know, I'll try hard too, because
so no need to leave that comment. I own it, and
we both do.
I interrupt Jody a lot because I just get so excited about it. But engaging in this self-reflection, you want to, if you're struggling, get a counselor, get a therapist. There's nothing wrong with having a therapist, and you share your feelings and apprehensions about this phase of life. You can't just go through it and not deal with it. So it's really important to do that.
All right, what's the fourth thing?
Well, for us, this is so important, establishing a new routine. And the reason this is so important...
And really, not to interrupt.
Well, you just did interrupt.
I know, because I know I'm going to get a comment about that.
Yeah, we'll leave a comment about Jody interrupting.
It's not just a routine, it's a new routine.
Oh, didn't I say that?
You did, but okay. I really think we need to... It's not just, they're back on routines. This is your new routine.
Well, you just keep going with that then.
And I think it's really important.
So we have a routine during our career. We have a routine if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad. You've got a routine. But when the other partner comes home or your career ends, that routine is shot. So you've got to find something that a daily structure. You've got to fit in exercise.
Right.
You've got to fit in some learning. You don't just want to spend 38 hours watching TV every week, which is the average number of hours that people over the age of 65 watch TV. You don't want to do that.
Right.
Enroll in some courses, do some workshops, online classes, volunteer.
Right. Right. And even travel, and when we say travel, a lot of you will say, well, it'd be nice to travel, but I can't afford to travel. Travel locally. Go a couple town overs and explore a coffee shop.
Couple town overs?
A couple towns over.
What's a couple town overs?
A couple towns over?
Over.
Is that not a good sentence?
I don't know.
A couple towns over.
Yeah.
And, just enjoy and explore like new shops or new restaurants or a new coffee shop or something. Something local.
All right. The last tip we want to talk about as you're entering retirement is find your fun. This phase, and we struggle here sometimes. We always say, what are we going to do fun today? Well, we don't have time. You have to make room for fun, whether it's a hobby, joining a club. We're pretty good with that. We joined the YMCA.
I love the YMCA.
You've got your women's group. I have a men's group. Mm-hmm. We have people with shared interests, pickleball friends, friends you go out to dinner with. But, golf. So we want to make sure that we have fun. We want to make sure that you have fun. And the other part of fun, really, experimenting, try something new, or just relaxing and rejuvenating, reading a book.
We never do that.
Yeah, we do. Self-care? We do. All right. So that's important. Have your fun.
Absolutely. And we wanted to make sure we put fun in there because it's not all planning. It's not all schedules. It's not all routines. It's not all our way.
No.
This is your time to do it your way
Right.
and find joy in simple pleasures.
Put some structure in it, but also have fun.
Right.
Because this can be a challenging time and it's going to take some getting used to. And you want to enter retirement, this is the beginning of the greatest phase of your life.
Just try these 5 tips to begin your retirement with a little hard work, but also some fun.
Now, if you like this video, you're going to like this next one. The top 5 struggles in retirement. We talk about loss of community, filling your extra time, and creating a vision for this phase of life. So we'll see you back again soon.